Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are ConspiraWin. ConspiraWin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. ConspiraWin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and ConspiraWin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. ConspiraWin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with ConspiraWin.
Now, boom, boom, aka boom, boom. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now? I'm assuming you can hear me now. All right. So again, the bot is going again. I hope you can hear me now. The bot is going, and it's a good bot. It's hopefully a good bot. It will not call out everybody. You know, like the last time I tried this, every day he's like, "Oh, hi, Bob. You're new here. We've never seen you before." Like, oh, and then the next day, "Oh, hi, Bob." He's got really old. I fixed that, so it should only address people once as they come in. Hello. That kind of lets me know that somebody new is here. This, you know, but otherwise it's, to keep those people from using slurs and using all caps and from spamming the thing. It does a lot of the moderating that we used to have people doing. So it's a work in progress. I appreciate you. What I was saying that you guys didn't get to hear is that I'm particularly ragged because I've been doing the Shakespeare Festival. And I normally go to bed about 7 in the morning. Or 7 at night, and I get up about 1. Sometimes that's due to things beyond my control that gets me up. But I may do that because I'm used to it, But with the Shakespeare Festival, like last night, I didn't leave the park until 9:45. I got home. I got to chill after that. It's stressful. If you've ever done theater, I know you're not going to believe this. I have an innate fear of public speaking, so it's very stressful to do that in front of people. And so by the time I get home, I need to chill. It's 11 o'clock by the time I got home. And I got up at 3 o'clock, and here I am. I'm just exhausted. So pardon me for doing the thing. I do want to say, though, I'm learning some very cool things. There are a lot of cool people who are there. experienced people. And there's this one guy, he's almost certainly not watching, so he's actually Christian. I know this because he wears a cross. But and we don't talk. He doesn't talk to anybody. I don't normally talk to anybody. I'm kind of reserved. Usually spend most of my time. You know, we're kind of the same in that way. We're also the kind of the two that you will see most often off to themselves running lines. And even though I have almost no lines compared to him, you know, we kind of have a similar work ethic. Anyway, he's been very cool to watch and learn from. I don't, like I said, talk to him. His name is Matt. Matt, if you're watching Mateo, you know, you're fun. You're fun to watch. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. He's not there though. Good morning, everyone. Let's see, Tuscan Keg. They wear their idols. I hope you're having a great day. Captain Lurk, can you imagine how meaningless a Christian life will be when they find out God isn't real? You know, I mean, the sad part about it is they won't find out until they die, and then there's nothing. And what do they learn? You know, they haven't learned anything. The only thing that happens is that everybody else learns, I guess, maybe. I do appreciate your thinking, where you're coming from, though. Doth mother know you weareth her drapes? Where have I heard that? My brain is not going this morning. Like I said, I'm exhausted. But I am extra pretty. Look at that. That is something else. I can now show you Lear. So maybe in the next day or two, I'll get some clips of Lear, my performance in Lear a few years ago, and show it to you. And we'll see how that goes. Let's see if I can catch up. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Godless Scummer is here to be or not to be. That is the question. You know, I've had people, and that is a good question. Really, this is my interpretation of that. For those of you who don't know, the to be or not to be can be, depending on the persons involved, controversial, because some people see it as a suicide related thing, you know, self-elimination sort of, you know, do I kill myself or do I not kill myself? I don't think that's what it's about. I think what it's about is, sorry if I go on about myself, but here's what the deal is. He knows that his uncle has killed his father, and there's a part of him that's trying to force him to do something about it. But if he does something about it, he's going to get killed. If he doesn't do anything about it, then what happens? And that's kind of what it's really about, to be or not to be. Do I continue living as a coward, or do I stand up as a man and go, listen, man, this ain't right, you know, whatever. That's kind of how I feel. It's not about someone being, oh, woe is me, I don't like my life. No, it's none of that. It's about, does he nut up and go take out his uncle, the king? You guys probably weren't expecting this kind of conversation this morning. I'm just not really here. Let's see if we got any interesting chats, any interesting people in the chat this morning. Well, they're all interesting. Zorcross, lies, personal attacks, threats, such are the arguments of Christianity put forward for our edification. That's kind of the thing. Oh yeah, get thee to a nunnery. That's one of my faves. Give me a bob. So, for those of you who don't know, a nunnery is a place where people who are pious and want to commune with the Lord tended to go. It's also a place where they send whores, where they'd lock up whorish women in a nunnery. So whenever he's telling her to get thee to a nunnery, he's actually insulting her. I've taken your vestments, your cherry, however you want to put it. I've taken it. You're a whore. Get thee to a nunnery. Go away. And he's trying to actually push her away from him because of the problem, like we just discussed. There's shit that's going on that I believe he really just doesn't want her wrapped up in. He wants to get her away from it because of what's fixing to go on. But she doesn't handle it well. She doesn't handle it well, if you know the story. That's my thinking. If I were thinking, man, if I've never been accused of that openly, I don't think. Interesting. Let's see. Captain Lurker. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Captain Lurker. Godless Scummer, thank you for that this morning. To be or not to be, Shakespeare. To do is to be, Socrates. To be is to do, Descartes. Dooby dooby doo. Scooby Doo. This is good. This is good. Good morning, everyone. Wodenson is here. Well, you should be here, in fact. Yeah, you should be here. I wrote a sci-fi story a long time ago, 2015. And in that sci-fi story, we actually meet X, Y, and Z people, complicated. And one of the main characters is actually named Thorson because he is literally the son of Thor. So, good morning, Woodinson. What do you call a flying nun? A bird, a plane, or none of the above? You guys are just picking on me this morning. Did all the mods lose their wrenches? AI took their jobs. Yes, and not all. There's a couple, very few. But yeah. I needed some uniformity across my modding, and I appreciate and love my mods at the time that they do. I just needed some. It was getting out of hand in various ways. So now, the bot will do a lot of it. If they come in and they spam, if they if they post links over and over again, if they use all caps or some of that business. But if I'm sitting here going, man, your Jesus did not die for you, and they come up and go, liar, you're a liar, they're not going to get moderated out for that. And that happened a lot, man. And I can't have a channel like this where I talk shit like I talk and they can't respond back to me. That's unfucking cool. Not that they were doing that on purpose. They were trying to follow the rules of other channels that do other things. I get it totally. That's their bag. But I don't do that. I do different things. And for me to do what I do and then them to not be able to respond, that's just shitty. That's shitty on my part, not my moderator's part. They do what moderators do. But now at least with this here, I can set it. And I can go, okay. And if actually I have a really good interface, I could show you too. But I have a really good interface. So if somebody gets out of line, I can control it now that I couldn't control it before. You'd see me go, oh man, wait, dude, you said something. Let me roll up and see what you said. I got to find it again. Over here, I can just click your name and it shows me everything you've said. And I can just, all I have to do is be able to find your name. And if it, as long as I can do that in this, so it's better. And hopefully it will be better. But we can be honest, can't we? Just mods or not mods, no mods, bad mods, good mods, it just kind of doesn't matter. I am probably, I could be wrong, not the most entertaining person to sit and watch. I can't really blame everybody for that. I just sit up here and I bitch about Christians and I point out their idiot beliefs and all that stuff, and I'm just some ranting guy on the internet. I gotta be honest, I love you guys. I think you're fantastic. I have no idea why most of you show up every day. In fact, sometimes it's just like I'm like, fuck this. This is just useless. I'm not doing it. This is a waste of my time. Waste of everybody's time. Who gives a shit? And then I see people showing up an hour before the show. Used to, I remember I was like, man, I had a good show. That was a great show. That was lots of people watching then. That was a long time ago. My numbers have changed differently. Now I have as many people before the show starts watching as what I used to think was a good show. I don't know why you do it, guys, but I appreciate it. You're wonderful. You are. Nights you say me. Chris Mallard. Oh no, not that quack. Yeah. That's me. Good morning, Nights. I don't know which side you're on, but I hope you have a good sense of humor. I'm guessing by your name. You probably do. Rhonda. Let's see what Rhonda's doing. Good morning, Rhonda. I don't know why it's doing you that way. I'm watching. I got a new mod, so bear with us this morning. Good morning, Rhonda. I don't know why it's threatening you already. My bot's kind of, we'll see what happens. Good morning, Rhonda. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys have had a great week. We've been talking quite a while now about, maybe I got to watch out this other chat, guys. I still got to keep that shit going. We've been talking quite a while now about Christianity and Christians and the things they got going on, the harms that they do. Now, of course, we know that not all Christians, right? That applies in a lot of different ways. We see Christians come in here and they'll say, not all Christians, right? That's true. That's true. Not all Christians are going to heaven, just the ones that, right? I mean, that's true. We also, by that same token, often lay out the term Christians. You know, these bastards over here, Christians. It's a, how do I say it? What's my asshole way of saying stuff? Oh yeah. It's a Christian signature move for them to lie, you know? But they don't all do that. Not all Christians, you know. We just get wrapped up in it. So anybody who watches the show, you kind of know who I'm talking about. And just like kind of whenever they come in here and they go, atheist, you think this. And I'm like, well, I have to stop myself and realize that they're actually not just talking about atheists. Just your free range atheists, I guess. Cage-free atheists, whatever. They're talking specifically about left-wing nutbag political atheists, human people who are against their Christians. That's the kind of atheist we're doing. So whenever they come in, you atheists think this, and I try to split the hair. I'm like, well, you don't really know what an atheist is, do you? Because, you know, yeah. So everyone is toxic today. Are people toxic? It must be. Oh, hardcore atheist. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I do sound rather sluggish and drowsy this morning because I'm sluggish and drowsy this morning. It's been a long week with the Shakespeare. You know, here's the deal. We're talking Shakespeare. If anything comes up religious-wise, we'll talk about it. But with the Shakespeare, I don't really know how it happened. And I can't really explain it. I just can say that if you've ever had one of those times where you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go on that cruise. It's like 3 weeks from now or some business. And they're like, no, it's Friday. It's this Friday that you're going to go on that cruise. That kind of happened with us. I really don't know how it happened. It's like one day I woke up, I think it was Saturday, thinking we had like, not this week, but till next weekend. And I got an email going, we open this Friday. I know somebody said that they know they had told us incorrectly. And that's where I feel I don't just came up with that on my own. But then it suddenly became real that we opened Julius Caesar in now 2 days. It is now 2 days. I play 4 different characters in Julius Caesar. And it's, I think, one of the most envious situations I've ever had in a play. We start in 2 days. Dominus possum possum permissus sportum tupu tepu elicarborundum. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Yeah. Master of Disguise. Yeah, let's see. I will be playing a Roman senator, one of the ones who kill Caesar. I will be playing a plebeian, one of the ones that kills Cinna. I will be playing Ligarius, a very fun, sick old man, and just a one scene kind of thing, but it's really fun. I really enjoy it. And then finally, I don't actually get to kill anybody as Ligarius. I'll explain. I might though, because I got a big sickness and I go around touching people, so maybe they die later. But the last character I play is Pendrus, and Pendrus, I get to kill Cassius, one of the bigger. So I get to kill a lot of people in the play. It's really good. I really have a good time. It's fantastic. My senator character is devious and sneaky and condescending and all this stuff. My plebeian is more like a plebeian. You know, come on, man, what do you want, man? Give us some more, that kind of thing, because that's what a plebeian does. And then Ligarius, if you know, you know. If you don't know, Ligarius is really kind of the sick old guy. That's kind of my impersonation of Patrick Stewart, really, with a cold, So it kind of sounds like more English. I am not sick if Brutus have in hand. So it's kind of a whole different character thing. That's my first time to ever do a fully real different character in a play. Normally, if you go watch a play, they're just playing that's Bob as Caesar, right? It's not Bob actually changing into another person. Bob's just playing it as Bob would if he were Caesar. But, to actually have a different character. So Ligarius is stressful because it is a different character than I've ever been. But it's fun, because I get to come out, I'm a comic relief, I get to have some fun. And then Pendrus, at the end, he's a very serious character. So, he's a serious character. He gets there whenever I say I kill Cassius. I kill Cassius if you know anything about the play. Not a spoiler. It's because he asks me to. I'm his servant, slave, and he's asking me. I've been his loyal servant for a long time, and he's asking me to kill him. So I get to kill Cassius, I get to kill Caesar, I get to kill Cinna. It's a fun play for me. But then, so Decius Brutus is, like I say, sinister and sneaky and condescending. Ligarius is funny. The plebeian is just a plebeian, outlandish, loud, and then Pendrus is that character where it's serious, and then it's the end where I get to stab my friend, lower him to the ground, and then look up at the crowd and have that Shakespeare moment. I got it all in this play. I got it all. I mean, if you were cast as Cassius, you're Cassius. People will be like, Cassius. If you were cast as Brutus, you know what? That is a pretty good Brutus right here. But I really do feel like people are going to walk away going, did you see that one guy who was that guy and that guy and that guy? And he did a really good job because I want to do a really good job. Thanks, guys. I appreciate like I said, my brain is mushy this morning from no sleep and lots of hours. So, thank you for letting me ramble. Biggest she/her. Can you? Let me see what biggest she/her has to say. Oh, wrong one. I got it. Don't give me no grief. There we go. Oh, it's over there. I see. Bum 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 bum. Biggest she/her. Can you please tell me? Please tell me about your journey. Please, can you tell me about your journey? If you're talking about me and my journey, specifically, or are you talking about somebody else? If you're talking about me and my journey, well, normally I'd kind of be a jerk and I'd say something, blah, 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 blah. I got time or the brain cells this morning for it. My journey, I was an atheist. I was a Christian. I had a friend a long time ago who went atheist. Actually, he's just mad at God because God wasn't helping him. So he's like, I'm not going to be a Christian anymore. And then me and another friend went over and hit him up with the Pascal's wager, and we turned on his electricity and gave him food. He's like, oh, Jesus, you love me again. And then I went away back to Texas. And I became a full atheist and all that business. And I came back a couple of years later. And that friend that I had convinced and helped, he had become a full-blown street preacher. Crazy, if you're watching sorry, but full-blown, dragging his wife, his little kids, holding signs about talk to me about Jesus, down on Central in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 10 o'clock at night when all the drunks were out doing the thing. And I came back and I saw him and I was like, oh man, what have I done? And I went down there and I hung out with him. And while I was there, him and his other Christian buddies were all asking me these, things about, I didn't know nothing. I was just an atheist. I didn't, what do you think about in God we trust in our money, on the money? I was like, well, do we need it there? What about people who aren't Christians? What about me, an atheist, other people, why would you, I even hit him up with it. Would you like it if it was under Allah we trust? How would you feel about that? And then I found myself right there defending atheism against all these people. I found it quite easy, to be fair. And that kind of started me on a journey. A year later, I wrote a book called Atheist, and you should be too. You can find it on Amazon for, I don't know how much. It's been there for a long time. And, I started a YouTube channel in 2019. Did that for a little while. COVID hit. Stopped the channel. Started the channel back up in August of 2024, and here we are. So there we go. I hope that helped you out, my friend. If that was even what you were, J.K. Simmons. Oh man, maybe. What do you think more about Donald Sutherland? Good morning, Mr. Ubi Buster. Mr. Ubister. Sorry, it's tiny on the thing. Yeah. What or who is Tuesday for? Well, 2, of course, right? Obviously, it's the second day of the week, Monday being first, Tuesday being the day of two. I don't know. I'm just rattling on. I'm just having fun. Good morning, John Jr. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're having a great week. Kelly Laughlin is here. Miss Non Sequitur is here. All you wonderful beard of empathy. Biggest her? Yes, thanks. How did your family took it? Some of them took it well. Some of them didn't. I'll tell you a quick story because you guys are all a captive audience. I have a sister. And this was about the time I was between when I first had the thing with my buddy Mike and between when I wrote my book. So it's kind of a little time span there. And my sister had something. She was up in the hospital off in Florida for, I don't know, a week or so. She was unconscious in a coma or some business. And there was this family group chat, Facebook, we were talking about, oh yeah, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. We'd get these news reports. Oh yeah, they're doing this. And I was like, it's not working. It's not working. And then one day they come into the chat and someone says, this nurse came up with this idea and they tried it. And within like an hour, Nora was awake. And now they were like, whoa, praise Jesus, praise God, praise Jesus. I'm like, wait. Ain't none of you said nothing about thanking that fucking nurse. And Jesus and God didn't do nothing. And that didn't sit well. And I've had a couple of family members who haven't really spoken to me. I mean, we will, but it's just not, it's just not. It's never recovered. Matter of fact, I'll be honest, because they don't watch anyway. It's actually my little brother, my favorite little brother, the one that I think we have the most in common with. And it's not really him that got bothered. It bothered his wife. And that was enough. I understand. It's cool. Yeah. So some people took it well, some people didn't. My dad wouldn't. My dad would have accepted it, but he was a Christian. He was a Christian. He would have accepted it though. I think the only reason why my dad would have had a problem, he died before it really kind of came, was because not that I'm an atheist, but that I would start saying things to him that would. Because if I were an atheist at that point, when it'd have been different. I think I was really kind of becoming as it was happening. No, I was an atheist by that point. I was. I'm old and I smoke a lot of weed, so I don't remember exactly. I just remember him being. So maybe he just died before. Oh yeah. I wrote the book in 2013. My dad died in 2006. He was long dead, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But he would have. I remember him talking about angels. He was seeing angels. He had lung cancer that had gone to his brain. Jesus, right? Jesus loves you and whatnot. Of course, by the time it goes to your brain, it's also at his kidneys and his liver and all this business. Anyway, so as he was passing in his, there in hospice, one of the things that he was doing was seeing images for some reason. I don't know why, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he was seeing images of Allah and Muhammad. And it was weird. My dad never even talked about Allah and Muhammad or none of that business. It's just like he was seeing these visions in his head. I didn't know he knew anything about that. No, it's all a lie, really, to be honest. It's all a lie. It's all a bunch of bullshit. The reason why I said that is because my dad actually did have all of those things, except for he dreamed of angels. In his last moments, he was seeing angels who were talking to him. He couldn't see me anymore, but he could see the angels. And had it been where he was seeing Muhammad and Allah and all that business, it would be like, oh, wow, that actually kind of makes sense. Or that's phenomenal. That's, if that happened, especially to a lot of people who weren't Muslims, that would be like proof, Christians often claim that because people like my father saw angels, that must mean that their Christian God is real. But oddly enough, people over in India who believe in an entirely different God set don't have those same kind of angel conversations whenever they have similar delusional situations. They're talking to Brahma or to whomever, their own God. You know what I mean? If it were Jesus up there, then those would be universal, would they not? These what do you call them? Near-death experiences, post-death comeback shit, whatever they are. Those would be universal, wouldn't they? Oddly, they're not. They're actually quite culturally specific. Funny. Anyway, so my dad was seeing the angels and stuff like that. So, mimetic hyperstation. Good morning, Sirius C8208. That's an interesting name. Good morning. As part of the deal is YouTube changed up their deal where we see the whole name. It's kind of weird now. Good morning. Chris, mental projection. Yeah. Good morning, Chris. How you doing? That's an interesting way to kick in the door. Which part of projection are you talking about? What about your mom? Oh, that's a good one. I'll tell you what, my mom, since you're asking, was a Christian when I was young. My dad was always a Christian. My mom, the one who read the Bible to us when we were kids, that was my dad. That was like, anyway, my mom was a light Christian. I remember being about between like 5 and 7 when she got single and we moved to a different part of Texas and she was going to church and all that. Try to find a husband, because that's where you did it back in the late 70s, right? In early 80s, it was the bars or the churches, especially out in the far rural areas. So that's what she did. How religious she really was, I don't know. We went to church occasionally, but then she lost her way from the church completely. By the time she actually passed, we had a barbecue for her. We didn't have a memorial ceremony. We had a barbecue for her. She was beyond it. My mom's the one who got me into Star Trek. Now, I want to say my mom and I didn't get along. I didn't like my mom. We didn't get along very well. It just wasn't one of those things. And maybe it was because of the similarities. Who knows? But my mom's the one who turned me on to Star Trek. When I was a little kid, you may not know this, I've been stupid poor all my life. When we were little kids, my mom was into Star Trek. She made us a gold shirt. I have a twin brother. She made us a gold James Kirk shirt. She made us one that we could both use because we were poor. So Star Trek goes way back, and then whenever the Next Generation came out, that was for me. I mean, I was like in 15 to somewhere like that. That was all I was like, man, this is for me. And then the Enterprise D looks like a Ferrari, or kind of like a badass, sports car, where the old Enterprise kind of reminds you, the original series kind of reminds you of like a 50s Thunderbird or, some kind of old car, which fit her era. And I got my era, so she taught me that. And that was kind of, that was my mom's deal. Dotonology says, you're an extremely religious person. You are evangelizing and preaching your religion. So what's the difference between you and Christians besides who your God is? Oh, that's a fascinating question, Dotonology. Well, there's a couple of things. One is, I'm going to pin that so I can remember. What's the difference between you and a Christian? Well, first of all, a Christian is out there telling you things that are not true. I'm not. Matter of fact, most of what I do here, if you come back and watch the show later, you'll see what I do here is I use your home Bible to tell you and show you how disgusting your religion is and the people in it. That's what I tend to do. Now, why do I do that? Do I do it because I want to save people's souls? No, I don't. I do it because Christians go around and they oppress other people. They do. They hurt other people for their religion. They do it all the time. And it's my job, or I feel it's my job, just like other people feel it's their responsibility in one fashion or another, to help stop this, to stop Christians from oppressing people. How are you oppressing people? Well, all right, we do this every fucking day. Book bans, the abortion issue, blue laws. I mean, it just goes, 10 commandments in schools, God on our money, God attacking, Jesus freaks and our government attacking other nations in the name of Jesus. I mean, it just goes on, right? So there's a big difference, actually, between me and although it kind of seems similar because I do use your book a lot. It seems like I'm preaching. And I guess you could say I am preaching, but the message is different, completely different. They're selling you a lie. They are. And I'm just trying to expose that, really. And the reason why I'm trying to expose that is because I hope that if I show you how ridiculous and harmful your religion is, you'll stop being a part of it. Either you'll stop being a part of it, or you'll start working to make it what it's supposed to be. You claim your religion is this, and then you go out and start hurting people. Well, instead of being in atheist chats going, why are you an atheist and how can you have more? Why aren't you in the Christian chats going, guys, why aren't you being more Christian? Turn the other cheek. Why aren't you out there doing that? Why aren't a lot of you out there doing that? There is a difference. And it is significant, despite the fact that they do sound the same. Now, I'm a little off my game today because I'm exhausted. I was up all night long. Well, not all night. For me, it was all night. I was up until like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I get up at 3. I normally get up at 1. I get up at 3. I'm just tired. So, but yeah, that's kind of the deal. There's a big difference. There are women who die in hospital parking lots because of your religion. Yeah. They're not even your faith. They're not. They have nothing to do with you. But because your people got into the Supreme Court, did you know? I don't know if you know this, but Amy Coney Barrett is a handmaid. She's part of a religion that actually has handmaids. She's a fucking handmaid. So your religion gets into the Supreme Court. Thank you, Donald Trump. trying to buy the Christian vote later, by the way. And so they get into the Supreme Court and they go immediately after other people. They really did. They went after women, and they went after trans people, and they're going to go after gay people. Now, the Supreme Court's kind of got a whoop thing about it, but they absolutely did, didn't they? In the name of Jesus Christ, how many babies do they protect? Well, it's not their babies to protect, are they? So, yeah, that's kind of what I do when I do. Now, if you're asking how I do it, if you're curious, if you give a shit, things I do are like this. I talk about how, pardon me, Jesus Christ was not a sacrifice. And then I explain to you how. By no means was it a sacrifice. No measure. No, by no measure was it a sacrifice. Then I will actually give you the benefit of the doubt. And I'll say, okay, here's how it's, you want to say it's a sacrifice? Okay, it's a sacrifice, fine. Here's how that sacrifice is worthless. It was useless. It didn't actually do anything. Then I got another one where I'm like, okay, here's how that sacrifice, not only did it not do anything, it's also disgusting. It's just horrific and disgusting. These are the kind of things I point out. And I use your Bible to do it. How was Jesus not sacrificed? Well, Jesus, first of all, a sacrifice is done at a temple. A priest performs a sacrifice. There's rites and rituals done. The sacrificial animal is supposed to be unblemished, not beat the fuck out of. It's usually a Jew. Romans don't sacrifice things to Abrahamic gods. Nope. The Jews, you can't say they wanted it because they actually said, hey, no, he's not our king. We don't. Matter of Pilate, what's his name? Pilate was like, yeah, we're going to put this name, King of the Jews, up. They're like, no, don't do that. And he did it anyway as a spit in the face of Jesus, as an insult. Okay, so now, but you're like, Jesus, he went willingly. He willingly gave himself. Or no, he didn't actually. He did not. Go look, my friend. Go look, my ignorant Christian friend. He was actually hiding in the Garden of Gethsemane. That's why they were there. Why did Judas have to kiss him? If Jesus was so obviously the leader of this group, why would Judas have to pick him out and kiss him? Because Jesus was not obviously the leader of the group. He was hiding among the group of disciples like a coward. And Judas had to just kind of weed through and go, oh, this is the one. Right? Then they took him to the palace, and the priests interviewed him, and he lied. He lied. Instead of going, I'm here to sacrifice myself for all of mankind to give you forgiveness from the God creature, he goes, oh, no, I always taught in the temple and at the synagogue. I always taught there, and I never taught in secret. Why are you even asking me? You should go ask the people I taught. That's what Jesus said. But he did teach in secret, didn't he? The entirety of the parables is a secret, right? That's the whole purpose of the parables. So those people over there won't hear the word, turn, and be saved. Isn't that all disgusting? Isn't that weird? But by no measure is any of that a sacrifice. None whatsoever. None. And then again, Jesus didn't go willingly. How many times in the garden did Jesus go, oh, Lord, please take this please let this cup pass from me? Is that willing? No, he wasn't willing. He was a coward. And then, so we'll go ahead and give you the notion. All right, so fine. It was a sacrifice. Was it though? I mean, if this guy, we'll give you our Jesus is God. Jesus is God? What is God afraid of death? That's just stupid. We're talking about the creature that created 2 trillion plus galaxies that we can see alone. It's uncountable. The staggering size of this universe is just amazing. And yet this God creature that created all that is somehow afraid of death in any fashion. But wait a second. Wait. Your God creature, Jesus, knew, because he's God, right? He knew ahead of time that he was going to have to go through that time, and then he was going to be sacrificed. And then he's going to be back up in heaven. Well, is that a sacrifice? Is it really a sacrifice? It's like, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice this cup of coffee. God, that cup of coffee is yours. Well, you didn't want any, so I'm going to take the rest. It's not a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. He did not sacrifice himself. He defeated death. That's just stupid. Of course he would defeat death because he's God, right? That's just stupid to say he would defeat death. He knew ahead of time that he was going to be back in heaven, either sitting by his Father's side, if you want to think he's Jesus, or as his Father. Either way, he knew he was going to be. So not a sacrifice. By no measure is it a sacrifice. None. Why would he need to be sacrificed for you? For the original sin? Oh, yeah, that's right. So he was sacrificed to absolve you of the original sin. That's right. So why do women still feel pain in childbirth? That was the punishment for original sin. Why don't just Christian women not feel pain for childbirth? That was the punishment for original sin. See, by no measure was your Jesus Christ sacrificed. It wasn't a sacrifice. If it was a sacrifice, we'll say it was a sacrifice, then we have to go, well, fuck, it really wasn't a sacrifice, because he knew. Either way, because he knew ahead of time that he was going to be back in heaven. So what the fuck, right? Oh, I'm going to go to Vietnam, and it does not matter what, I'm going to get shot up, blown up, doesn't matter. At the end of the war, I'm going to be back in my house with my feet up, petting my dog, no matter what. That's a sacrifice, dude. That's just fucking stupid. It's stupid for you to believe that. It's ridiculous. And that's what I'm here to do, is point that out. But wait, it gets better. It's also, we'll concede. I'll concede now. I'll let you have it. It's a sacrifice. It's a child sacrifice. You're into child sacrifice? That's cool with you? That's cool. Let me explain to you what a sacrifice is, how this works. And now you're going to go, oh, wait, no, that's not what, but stop and think. Listen to me. Listen to my words, and this is the truth. I am the serpent. I speak the truth. A sacrifice is this. I have done something wrong. I am a bad person, and I have sinned, okay? And now, in order to absolve me of my sin, I have to go harm an innocent creature, either a person or an animal. Either way, in order to get the sin off of me, I don't have to do any kind of reparations to the person I harmed. No. In order to get the sin off of me, I have to sacrifice. That's kind of disgusting. And the worse it is, I have to sacrifice something. I'm sorry. I have to sacrifice something innocent, an unblemished sacrifice, right? Jesus was the most innocent of lambs. You see that, right? The whole purpose is that if you've done something horrific, you, a shitty fucking person, all you, a shitty fucking person, has to do is go harm an innocent creature. And doing so in the name of your God will absolve you of your sins, right? So essentially, it's saying, all right, you're a shitty person. You're horrific and you do bad things. Go do more bad things to an innocent thing and you will be absolved. And the worse your sin is, the more innocent the creature has to be, right? Just like Jesus. He's the most innocent, purest of white, right? Isn't that disgusting? That's disgusting. I'm going to be brief about this example because I use it so often. I go to the grocery store, I rob the grocery store, I come home, I feel like I've committed a sin, I've done bad. So in order to absolve myself of my sin, I go in the other room, I get my 10-year-old son and I kill him. Sin's resolved. I don't apologize to anybody at the grocery store, none of that business. There's two ways this story goes on, right? So 10-year-old boy. So while I was there, though, in fact, what I did was I actually shot a security guard and I killed a security guard. So now my 10-year-old son won't do. I am an evil, more bad, disgusting person than I was, right? So I need an even more pure sacrifice, more innocent. So I have to go get my 3-year-old son and sacrifice my 3-year-old son to absolve that sacrifice. That's what it is. You know that's what it is, right? Even when they were doing animals, the bigger the sin, the bigger the animal. The more innocent the animal, the more sweet, the more unblemished. It's disgusting. It is entirely disgusting that you, a shitty person, have done something shitty. And in order for you to be absolved of your sins, somebody else has to get hurt. That is right by you. That's moral by you. Really, you're a moral person, and inflicting harm on other people for your sins is good. Okay, so now we've made this whole full circle about how it's disgusting. But wait, again, it is a child sacrifice. Jesus Christ is a child sacrifice. The definition of the sacrifice of the firstborn doesn't mean firstborn for your little kid. No, it's the first to breach the womb. Jesus Christ was the first to breach the womb. He is a child sacrifice. The firstborn son. He was sacrificed as a firstborn son. And you're like, no, God doesn't give child sacrifice. He hates child. Remember Molech? Oh, they sacrificed to Molech. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit. Yeah, it really is. John 3:16. Child sacrifice. I'll say it again slower for you really religious Christians. John 3:16. Child sacrifice. For the Lord so loved the world that he sacrificed his only son. Only begotten, I believe, is the term. It's a child sacrifice. Your prophet or whoever wrote that particular scripture was literally saying that your God creature sacrificed his own son for your sins. Now, at first, you're so programmed to go, oh, that's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, that's so beautiful. But if I were to tell you that your neighbor, Bob, he got in trouble. He done something bad. And he went in the other room and he got his little son and he killed his little son to absolve himself of his sins. Would you be sitting there going, oh, that's so beautiful. He loved it so much. He sacrificed his own son. Is that what you would do? No, it's not. Unless you're a disgusting, horrible fucking piece of shit of a human being. But that's what you do with Jesus Christ, isn't it? Isn't it? Because you've been programmed to think it's good, but it's not good. It's disgusting. So it wasn't a sacrifice by no measure. But even if it was a sacrifice, it's a disgusting, disgusting act, which led us to what we have now, which is a blood cult. Christianity is a blood cult, isn't it? Isn't it? You're purified by the what of Jesus? Jesus shed his what for you? You're going to eat of his flesh and drink of his what? You want to sing along with me? Let's sing a song. Washed in the blood of... You can finish it. Washed in the blood of... It's a blood cult, man. You are part of a blood cult. If you're a Christian, you are part of a modern day child sacrificing blood cult situation. Absolutely. And you just don't know it. You don't. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. And now, let me ask you, though. You have been sitting here for quite a while. Have I said anything wrong? Did I lie? Go look for yourself. If you're brave enough, if you're smart enough, you go look for yourself. Because you've been lied to, my friend, and not by me. Because I am the serpent, right? And the serpent in the Bible tells the truth, by the way. Go look. Your God creature lies to the people. Says, if you eat of the tree, you will surely die. The serpent says, if you eat of the tree, you won't die, and you'll have the knowledge of the gods. They ate of the tree. God then says, oh no, now they're going to have the knowledge. Now they have the knowledge of the gods, essentially, basically, right? I'm paraphrasing. And you're like, no, they never would have died. They would have lived forever had they not have eaten of the... No, they wouldn't have. Because they hadn't eaten of the tree of eternal life. And God creature kicked them out of the garden specifically to keep them from eating from that tree. So they wouldn't have lived forever. They would have died. So you're wrong. God lied to them. The only one that was truthful to them was the serpent, as I am being truthful to you. I heard something come through. I'll check out my super chats here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll be back in just a minute. Let's do this thing here. For you, oh, wait, which one was it? Oh, yeah. Boop. Good morning.
Finnegan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
You're hiding.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Pupius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
You're Popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Finnegan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms. Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin Lack of Faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that,
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
true. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your Popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right, I've got a couple of things to address here in the chat because, I usually get to ranting and don't pay any attention to the chat. But we got a person over here, Cowboy, said it was not just for the original sin. What else was it for? It was, you're right, I can't argue that, but original sin is just enough. The fact that it was for original sin, even though it was for more than just original sin, even though it was for that and the sacrifice didn't lift that, that alone should be evidence for you. However, you will be doing this. No. All right. Let me continue with your posts. What do you believe in? Joe Pesci. Have you actually read the whole Bible? Have you actually read the whole Bible? Have you actually read the whole Bible? Yes, I have actually read the whole Bible, he says. Are you actually going to answer my questions? He says. Because I was intentionally, I guess, ignoring him. But I wasn't, right? Because I wasn't even looking at the chat. I was ranting. Wasn't he watching? Well, everyone know, I guess there's no. And then thank you for the response. Give me an atheist. Do you have a belief in anything? Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot of things. Go ahead with that. I'll let you answer. And I believe in a lot of things, really, just not God creatures, just not invisible God creatures. Right. So here's the deal. There are a lot. I can't actually say I have read the whole Bible. I can't say that. Oh, my goodness, I have not read the whole Bible. Somehow those parts that I have not read will change my mind. And must obviously be somehow less horrific than the parts I have read. I mean, I can't say that I've read the whole Bible because I honestly, I can't remember ever doing so. But I've read a lot of it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm ignorant of the Bible. I know a lot of the Bible. How much do you know about the Bible? What scripture, Cowboy, does Jesus Christ advocate for beating slaves or use the advocation of beating slaves to describe the relationship between God and his people? What scripture was it in which God creature told Moses to sacrifice children? You must have those right there on hand, don't you? What scripture was it whenever, I like these games, when Jesus Christ talked about how many billions of people he was going to murder in person and with his angels? Which part of the Bible is that? I mean, I'm not even talking about Revelation, because you got to know Revelation, right? That's when they literally talk about coming back and killing billions of people who don't believe. That's the whole part of Revelation. That right there, if you even know about the story of Revelation, that's your Jesus creature committing an atrocity against humankind. Isn't it? Isn't it? So thank you, Cowboy, for playing. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Let me go over here. I have more. Ooh, there's more. Let me go here. I'm going to get this off of there. Thank you. Good morning. Cowboy, good morning. You may be... Anyway, carry on. We have a question here from Babylon 6847. Where's your energy for Muslims? Seriously, atheists are complete punks on the street. None of you will open your mouths and call out Darwinism, Tahira, Muhammad. Okay, well, there's a couple of things. Correct me if I'm wrong. Darwinism is whenever you live underneath Islam and you're not a Muslim, so they treat you as an inferior person. Tahira is essentially where it's okay. They tell you it's okay. Probably even they kind of want to imply good. It's good to lie if you're protecting Islam for the purpose of Islam. That's takhira. And then, of course, there's Muhammad, the guy who married a 9-year-old, had sex with a 6-year-old, had sex with her when she was 9 years old, who murdered hundreds of people personally by beheading them one at a time. Let me ask you, Babylon, are any of those Muslims over there forcing their shit through the Supreme Court on American people right now? So I've given you essentially what people have called me out on Islam. You're not calling out shit, you ignorant fuck. You're not calling out shit. I'm against Islam. Very against Islam. Islam is not up in my grill, though. You are. You're the one who's impressing your bullshit on our people here in the United States. If I lived over in like Saudi Arabia, or if I lived in Iran or somewhere like that, I'd have the Daily Atheist Anti-Muslim show. Do you have enough synapse in your fucking brain to figure that out? That's why us atheists that you often engage with are against Christians, is because it's us that you're fucking oppressing. It's not Muslims that are now over in the Middle East. You'll have those people over there. And there's whole groups of them, just like us, who over here, who argue against Christianity. Over there, they are more violent against them. That is true. Only now, though. It's only now, because it's only for the past 200 years. Before 150, 200 years ago, being a non-Christian could be a death sentence, couldn't it? So, yeah, I'm against Islam. I am, but Islam is not my problem right now. Christians are. Their ignorance, their willingness to believe bullshit hurts people here in the United States. Thank you for playing. And Geo... Bear with me. Gio Elicatarisano. Sorry, I'm from Texas. My accent forbids me from saying that word. Gio says, "You demon again?" Thank you for capitalizing demon. I appreciate it whenever you do that. As the Lord appreciates whenever you capitalize the he, hims, and stuff like that, I and the Father of Darkness also appreciate it whenever you capitalize demon, that sort of thing. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're so nice. Yeah, it's me again. Babylon says, Kelly, I'm still figuring out whether you're a schizo or that you got ripped on the head as a baby. You really, again, now this is why Kelly, this is one of those Kelly areas that he was right in. You really shouldn't attack people like that. You shouldn't. But obviously Kelly is going to attack back. And Kelly's probably right. So anyway, you can argue with Kelly, but I don't think that's going to go where you want it to go. I'll let you do that. Like Daniel and the lion. Remember the 5th of November. Good morning, Ben Lutenberger. Thank you for joining us. What an interesting name. Oh, wow, that's your first time kicking in the door. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Let me see. Adam the first, interference with Adam the second. So Adam is the third, trying to help Adam the second. I'm sure you guys are having a conversation there. I'm just going to act like I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just easy for me to do. Kelly, keep banging your head about how Christianity is all to blame for your personal issues. You're a dreadlock dope fiend. Dude, you have no idea what you're talking about, do you? I mean, first of all, I do want to point out that you actually can't defeat any argument that Kelly has put forth, so you're just going to call him names and insult him. I think that's a little bit on the weak side. I mean, okay. Do atheists believe in the serpent? No. I don't believe in the serpent. I do not. I'm not a Christian. Listen, if you believe in the serpent and Satan, you're a Christian. It's part of that religion, right? However, we as people are talking about a book that you as theists use to define how you live and how you interact with other people. And I use the example of the serpent to point out, I'm literally using the words of the text to point out how the serpent was not lying and that the God creature did lie. That's it. It's sort of like if we were to sit down and read like a Batman novel and say, hey, you know, actually the Joker was telling the truth and Batman was the one who was lying. That's all. I don't believe in the Joker. I don't run around masturbating thinking, oh, the Joker's watching over me at all times, thinking, yeah. No, it's just a story, but it's your story. You guys seem to think that God is loving and mercy and honest. And first of all, honest. God is not honest. He's not honest at all. He's not. The third chapter of the book actually tells you he's not honest. It demonstrates that God is a fucking liar. That's the point I was trying to make. Did you get it? Can you go read the book and see for yourself? Genesis chapter 3, I gave it to you. Go read the book and see for yourself. God says X. The X doesn't happen. In fact, several times that happens throughout the Testament. I actually looked it up once. It was quite a lot of times. But here's another example. Go look at Genesis chapter 15. Genesis chapter 3, God lied. Told them, if you eat the apple, you will die. They did not die. That's a good start. Let's just begin. But then Genesis chapter 12 or 15, God comes to Abraham in person. Well, in a vision, of course. Then in person, and makes a promise. Says in 400 years, all of your descendants will have this land from here to here. It's huge amounts, like from Egypt all the way to some faraway place that they've never had that much land in there, let alone 400 years after the alleged time of Abraham. That was a lie, straight from God creature. Go read it. He told them, your descendants will have this land. Now, if you're going to say, well, somewhere along the way, one of the descendants made him mad, so he didn't give them the land. Well, your all-knowing God creature should have known that was going to happen and shouldn't have given them in the promise to begin with, right? Fascinating. Interesting stuff. You actually can call Kelly on the show. But I do have a limited amount of patience for the personal insults. They will stop or you will. Kelly used to be really good about banning people themselves whenever they did that. I took that power away from him and everybody else. I'm just like, but I'll do it. I'm not afraid to do it. If you want to continue with that, and you can insult me so much, but I'm talking about Kelly. If you continue attacking Kelly, and I'm gonna be tired of you very soon. Call him on the other show. Ben Ludenberger says, I've read the whole Bible. It's just a culmination of everything I've read and learned. It feels to me the right answer. Religion is there to answer the unanswerable. All right, Ben. Now, if you read the whole Bible, Ben, I'm not trying to be terribly attacky. It's just, if you read the whole Bible, you know the Old Testament is completely horrific start to finish. Start to finish, it's horrific. As I already talked about how God creature lies to the woman, the people. Actually, the woman wasn't even there, was she, when God told her not to eat the apple or service, the fruit. You know what I mean? She wasn't there. No, she wasn't there when so there was that. Anyway, so look at that, though. Look at that, what that God creature did. Was it love? Was it mercy? Was it forgiving? No, it was horrific. What did it do to all of womankind for one mistake? From a woman who was ignorant and knew nothing. It punished her with pain in childbirth and the love and lust for her husband. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't just pain in childbirth. Punishment for the original sin is your love and lust for your husband. And he will rule over you. That's your punishment. Interesting. Isn't that kind of rough, though? It's kind of shitty. That's not the actions of a loving, merciful God, is it? It's a hideous, disgusting God. Let's move on to chapter whenever Cain and Abel do their thing. Cain and Abel. So God made working the ground hard because of Adam's and Eve's sin. Remember? Go read it. He makes working the ground hard. So you've got Cain who's working the ground, working his ass off to make the ground fruitful. Abel is a farmer. He's got his goats, right, and his whatnot. But the Lord loves the smell of burning flesh. So they both bring the best of their offerings, but God turns his nose up to Cain's. And despite knowing God, being literally in the presence of the God creature, all of that, seeing it, witnessing, you and I are just doing everything. This individual knew God creature personally, went and killed his own brother. The first murder in the Bible is for the love of God. One brother murders another brother for the love of God. Could God have stopped Cain? Was God unable to stop Cain? Did he not know? God's like, what did you do to your brother? Did he not know Cain was going to do that? How impotent was your God? He could stop Abraham. But no, your God creature allowed the brother to murder the other brother. And then instead of punishing Cain, he rewards him. He gave him a long life. Put a mark on his head so no one will harm him. That's a reward in the Old Testament, a long life, is it not? He went on to live in a city, grow a city, had his sons, many sons who went on to found nations. These are all things that are blessings by God, visited on Cain for murdering his brother. Let's move on. Now let's talk about Noah's Ark. Oh, it's a wonderful story. 2x2, they went up the ramps. 2x2 with ends of blue. But in that story, they don't really emphasize how God drowned every baby, every little crawling wimp, every innocent 7-year-old who was running around playing as a kid. Drowned every one of them. For all of their hearts were wicked. Everything they knew was wicked from childhood. And God drowned all of these people. Now, wait a second. Where were they? Who were these people? God created them. God, the perfect creature, created the perfect man. And then he allowed the Nephilim and the sons of God and all of these other things to essentially corrupt them. And then he destroyed them for the corruption. This is the actions of a fucking hideous demon creature. Is it not? Is it not? We're not even done with the story of Noah. Let us continue. The story of Noah goes on after drowning all the innocent, wicked, and children and whatnot. Noah finally gets where he's going. The first thing he does is build a winery and gets drunk. And his son sees him naked, which may mean his son had sex with his wife. Either way, but essentially his son did something wrong. So Noah cursed his grandson. Why did Noah curse his grandson? Is that moral by you? If I come over to you and I beat your car window or something, is it okay for you to go harm my child? Maybe take out an eye or something? Does that work for you? Does that make sense to you? But no, God, your God creature, loving and merciful, he allowed Noah to curse Ham's son, his own grandchild, to him and all his descendants to slavery. God did that. He cursed an innocent child for the actions of his father. Now, wait. No, that was Noah's curse. Well, wait a second now. Noah has power? No. Noah doesn't have any power. All the power is God's. If a person is allowed to put a curse on by God, that's God allowing that power to happen. That's not Noah going around with the power to curse people. It's God. Noah using, so God allowed, either way, however you see it, that child to be, after, of course, drowning all the other children. Then we've got chapters 4 and 5 where they create entire civilizations twice, I think, and they don't mention women at all. At best, I think in chapter, was it 4 or 5 or 6? I don't remember. At best, in one of those chapters, they say, and Bob had sons and daughters. But they'll essentially populate the entire earth. They're like, Steve had Bob, and Bob had sons and daughters. And Bob had Bubba and had sons and daughters. Now, the second of those two chapters, it just names, doesn't even bother naming them daughters at all. It says Bob had Steve, who had Bill. You know what? They populate the earth and no women get credit at all. None. They don't name the women. Bob had this dude, had this dude, who had this dude. But did Bob have that dude? No. Bob ejaculated inside a vagina. And that's kind of probably all Bob did. And that woman raised that child, took care of that child, fed that child, did all the things for those children. That's what moms do, right? And yet they don't get no credit at all. Very misogynistic of your God creature. But then, let's go on. We can go on. Let's go on to the Tower of Babel. I need to get more stories. I've got more stories, actually. It's just by the time I get to them, it's just... So the Tower of Babel, whenever God comes along and he says, wow, look at these people. Look at them working together, coming together to build this wonderful city. If they continue like this, there is nothing they can't do. He almost says that word for word. Go read that. And then the very next line is... well, we fucking can't have that. I think I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. He's like, man, there's nothing these people can't do. Let us go down and mix up their language and destroy their city or whatever. Yeah, we can't have that. They're doing great. And they're just going to be a wonderful. Is that the actions of a creature that actually has our interest as a species at heart at all? At all? It doesn't give a shit about us at all, does it? There's one concern, and that's worship and praise for it, because it apparently has an extremely tiny penis, if it has one at all. It's an extremely tiny, and it needs constant, oh, yeah, man. Oh, tell me I'm good. Oh, tell me I am the Holy One. That's it. Oh, do some more. You know, you ever praise a child? You go along, man, you did really good. Why are you doing that to a child? Why are you, I don't want to say stroking the ego of the child. Essentially, you're building the confidence of the child and helping that child hopefully grow in a meaningful way. How does that work when you praise the Lord? Is it like a child? Is it so feeble and weak that it needs your praise? It needs you. Stick with me, my friends. It needs you to tell it that it is worthy and you are unworthy. It needs these things. Really. You have a very weak God, don't you? You're a very puny God. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. Let me pull up this. Good morning. Rahula Aurora. Is that James Gunn? You know, I've never been called James Gunn before. I could see maybe the resemblance. I usually get the Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland, you know, from the Hunger Games is usually who they go for. But thank you. Dogs are God's gift, attesting to the events of the Bible. Oh, let me see what else you had to say. That's cool. I get to see here all the stuff. The end is nigh, only Jesus saves. The world is passing away for eternity. See, that's interesting, because had you posted that whenever I still had mods, they would have probably blocked that for preaching. Faith. John 3:18, he that believeth in him is not condemned, but he that believeth in him is condemned already, because he hath not believed in. Now, see, actually, I can see why. I think this is pretty good. I may have to make that. Yeah, see, at this point, you're just preaching. One of the things I was talking about whenever me and my mods, I was talking about the mods thing, was that sometimes I will say something. God never once said, or Jesus never once said he was God. Okay. And then Christian will post in the chat, well, he did. This is the scripture. And they post the scripture. And then some of my mods would go, hey, no preaching. But they weren't preaching, were they? They were just responding to what I had said. But the chat can't, the little new bot I've got going on, can't really tell the difference, can it? Apparently my mods couldn't either. So whenever I asked them to stop, they still didn't stop. But I mean, that's really all you're doing is preaching. Do you have anything to say, dogs are God's gift, other than just straight preaching? I mean, let's see. And men loved darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Can you I think it's fascinating, interesting, really. I'm going to help you out with this, if you don't mind. Dogs are God's gift. Dogs God's gift says, the end is nigh and only Jesus saves. The world is passing away for eternity. Second post was faith. Third post was John 3:18. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son. That's interesting. That is a straight preach. Just a preach. You're just posting. You're not responding to anything. You're just posting. John 3:19, and this is the condemnation that light comes into the world, and men love darkness rather than light. What? No. See, that's the deal, though. So this is the whole deal. What you and your God creature and your prophet here are describing now as light is anything that God says is good. And anything that God says is bad is darkness. That's what that says. Not worshiping or believing in God is darkness. That's all. That's all it takes to be condemned forever and fit into darkness, is to just not believe the ridiculous, idiotic, bullshit fucking stories that we've been told ever since we're children. That's all it takes, is to not believe the ridiculous stories that we were told. Noah, a Jonah and a whale, for how long? Run that by me again. Oh no, that was just a metaphor. But wait, it doesn't actually have an asterisk at the top that says metaphor, does it? Do they separate out, or is it just you who, with your objective singular morality, determine subjectively which way you want to read that? Which one is just a metaphor and which one of them's literal? That's right. Noah was literal. Noah was a literal story. But Jonah was not. Again, is there an asterisk in the Bible that somehow says that you're not supposed to take one of these literally? Somebody asked for the Pharaoh's Curse song. I will give you the Pharaoh's Curse. For those of you who don't know, one of the heroes of the Bible is Abraham. You know, the Abrahamic religion. That guy. He was a fucking horrific dude. I know, he's a prophet of the Lord, which kind of brings me back to the purpose that your fucking God was hideous, every aspect of it. Oh, that's what I was talking about. I'm sorry, I was talking about the Bible earlier. I got somebody in the chat was like, oh, I've read the whole Bible and it's wonderful. And I was just kind of going through chapter by chapter talking about how disgusting your God creature is. We can go to even through to where David, David, King David, the wonderful King David. Isn't King David the same guy who murdered another man and then had to have sex with his wife? And then God creature, listen, man, God creature. The punishment for David's sin was that his wives were publicly raped. What did they do? How did that affect him? Other than just get new wives. I mean, what did they do? Those women who were people, who were punished, publicly raped for David's sins. The baby that he came from the affair that he had with, that baby died, I guess, if I remember right. What happened to David? Nothing. David is King of Kings. He got the lineage of Jesus. The story of Lot, where Lot tries to throw out his 2 virgin daughters, even though there's angels of heaven right there with all of their power, Lot still tries to throw out his virgin daughters. Then he takes them up into the mountains, rapes them, gets them pregnant, brings them back down. Of course, it was just him and them. So whose story got told? The man who, if anybody in the group could write, it would be him, or the girls who had no voice and were to be sold. Lot was the chosen by God. It even says so at the beginning of the story. He was so favored by God that they sent down the angels to go get him. That's a horrific. Who is the villain of the story? The wife, for looking back at what she had lost. Go read the story of Job, where God creature just absolutely torments Job like a fucking fly pulling off his little legs and his little wings. But he still loves me. No matter how horrific I am, no matter how disgusting I am to this person, he still loves me. That's your God creature throughout the entire Old Testament. We want to talk about Moses. Moses, whenever the people were going through the desert, they were going through the desert because they complained after they were free from Egypt. So God was like, oh, fuck you. None of you are getting to the promised land. So he made them wander in the promised land for 40 years so they would all die before they got to the promised land. Remember that? Loving, merciful God. How much do you know your Bible, individual? I'm not even done with the Old Testament. 3/4 of the book is the Old Testament. And you're like, I've read the Bible and I can't see no other way to lead my life. Well, fuck, dude. 3/4 of the book is telling you that once you defeat your enemy, you're supposed to go kill all the men and women, even the pregnant women. Oh my goodness, what about the unborn babies? No, you're supposed to run a fucking sword through them. That's what Moses did. And then we get to Jesus. You know Jesus, the same guy who said, no, fuck your life. There is no life. Give away all your shit. It's coming today. The afterlife is now. The reward is now. Get rid of all your shit. Same guy who said, I'm not going to heal you. You're not a Jewish woman. It would be like throwing the food meant for the children down for the dogs. And he wouldn't actually agree until she said, yes, but don't the dogs even get the scraps from the food at the children's table? What a disgusting Jesus creature you have there. The same Jesus creature who made thought a crime. You, if you sin in your mind, will be eternally punished for sinning in your mind. This is the same guy, Jesus, this is the same guy who said, like the whole taking your own eye thing. If you, a person out there, you're a Christian, and you have sinned with your eye by looking at like a woman's ass, for example, oh, that's a sexy ass. Or if you've done that, did you pluck out your eye? Did you run down and get absolved for that sin? Or did you pluck out your eye? Because Jesus himself says, go read the words, my friend. You got fucking chat. Go do it yourself. He says himself, it's better for you to pluck out an eye and enter heaven with one eye than it is for you to go into hell with two. So what kind of Christian are you? You got two eyes? You mean your eyes never offended you? Really? Now, wait a second. I got to ask you, though, really, if you want to stop and ponder about this. If Jesus paid for your sins and all you had to do was believe in Jesus, why would you have to sacrifice an eye if it made you sin? Why couldn't, I mean, I know in one way it makes sense, right? Oh, my eye is sinned, pluck it out. But what about if your eye has caused you to sin, pray and ask for forgiveness. Oh, shit. Wow, that never occurred to me. If your hand has offended you, pray and ask for forgiveness. It doesn't say that, does it? It doesn't. I mean, when you stop and think about it, every aspect of the Bible is horrific. 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 Jesus says, love me and you get to go to God. Really, God creature, go look at the Old Testament. God creature's fucking horrific. 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 Was I going to tell you about the people who he sent them in the desert for 40 years? Those were also the same people who complained about the same manna, the food crap that he kept feeding them, which he was just feeding them like jailhouse food, right? Because he's pissed them off. He's just letting them die slowly. So they complained about the food. So instead of giving them better food, he sent serpents to sting them. Remember? Where is your God loving and merciful and forgiving at all? At all. The story of Jephthah. Telling God, listen, man, if you allow me to win this battle, I will sacrifice to you whatever first comes out of my home. Now, listen, if you're God, you know how this plays out. Don't you? You already know how this is going to play out. God could have let Jephthah lose the battle. God could have let Jephthah lose the battle, but die. God could have let Jephthah lose the battle, but stop Jephthah by sending an angel, as he did with Abraham. God could have done anything, but he didn't. Jephthah went home. He won the battle. He went home. And as he promised God, I guess a month later, he sacrificed his daughter by fire, by Molech. And it was seen as good in the eyes of the Lord. Now they'll be like, it doesn't say it was seen as good in the eyes. Why would they put it in the fucking holy book? What was the purpose of the book? That his loyalty and dedication and willingness to sacrifice anything got God on his side. But by getting God on his side, there was a comeuppance. You had to pay in blood. Right? Your fucking God is hideous. Hideous. You know, whenever Moses builds those altars, he builds a bunch of altars, some little stone altars out in the desert. And they bring out 50 bulls and they cut the bulls' throats. Not Moses, Abraham. And they cut the bulls' throats. It might be Moses. No, Abraham. They cut the bulls' throats and they catch the blood in bowls. And then they sprinkle the blood on the altars, and then they sprinkle it on the followers as they chant, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Abraham, the father of the Abrahamic religion, would cut bulls' throats, catch that blood in bowls, and sprinkle it on an altar, and sprinkle it on worshipers who are chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Isn't that disgusting? Interesting. But then again, as per I was telling you the story of the Pharaoh's curse, Abraham went on to go down to Egypt. He was afraid they were going to kill him in Egypt, even though he had the power of the Lord with him. But anyway, they were going to kill him in Egypt because his 65-plus-year-old wife was so beautiful that the Pharaoh was going to take her and kill her. Anyway, so then he gave his wife to the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh gave her back saying, she gave us a disease. I'm not lying. Genesis chapter 12. Go read it for yourself. Me borré
burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right, we're back. All right, so here we go. Text for Christ. I hope you're still there. I want to get back to you in just a second. Miss Non Sequitur says they have found cancer cells in dinosaur bones. True. Caesar Alcazar says fossil evidence shows they, in fact, had cancer. True. Milan Savankara says paleontologically, I'm not being obnoxious. Sorry, that was the wrong one. And then Text for Christ said, back to you again, by the way. And yes, archaeologists did find bone enzymes that are still living. So y'all, 1 million year Earth evolution has been debunked from that too. Actually, I have some unfortunate news for you, my friend. You should go watch Forrest Falcott. He's a scientist. No, you probably don't like the S word. He's a scientist, and they actually got people. They are right. They have found enzymes that shouldn't be that old. But part of the reason why is because of the iron in the red blood cells. There's the go watch. There's a legitimate scientific reason as to why they still find that. You have been debunked. Your gotcha was not a gotcha at all. Go look. Go if you want to know. Go look. Forrest Falcott. I can't remember what it was called. There's a word for it, but you'll find it. Go look. It's there. There's a reason. Describe it in the chat. It'll know what it's called. There's a word for it. Go look. It's been you have been debunked. So normally, under normal conditions, no. But whenever you preserve them in certain ways with certain chemicals, indeed, they can last a long time. Do you want to know the truth, or do you not want to know the truth? I'm going to say no, probably. Let me carry on. And then Hypatia Stanhope said the Nazis fought on for months after they knew they had lost also. Okay. That's true for some of them. I also want to point out, because we don't like to blanket everything, there were a group of Nazis who had heard the war was lost or knew it was almost lost, and they turned and fought other Nazis to protect innocent people. They turned actually and fought with American troops, if I remember right, to stop this. So like in America, whenever America becomes, I don't mean to defend Nazis by any means, but not all Nazis knew and not all Nazis were. Anyway, now we know, don't we? John Jr. says Christians are pathetic liars. Pathetic and prolific. Indeed. So now I want to get to you, Text for Christ. I want to answer that big question for you because this is the one you need answered. Let me get this out of my way. Because this is the truth and you're not going to like the truth. Text for Christ says, how hideous of him to put on flesh, get flogged, spit on, mocked, flesh torn, and hung on a cross for 6 hours to redeem mankind. Really? Let me ask you something. Let's go off on a number of things. One is, if you knew that all of mankind was going to be eternally destroyed or whatever, would you not have done the same? How many people, maybe you're not, maybe you're a piece of shit coward. How many people on this planet, even not knowing that they were an eternal creature who would not really die, even not knowing that, would willingly sacrifice themselves, even for just a small group of people? There have been men just in foxholes who've thrown themselves on grenades for other men in those foxholes. That's not an entire group of people. That's not, I mean, you know what I mean? This whole Jesus Christ thing. And then of course, wait a second. He knew he was going to be flogged, spit on. He knew ahead of time. He knew ahead of time. So he must have also known that he was going to be sucked back up into heaven, be healed, live forever in paradise as God or with God, right? He must have knew what kind of sacrifice is that. That's not a sacrifice at all, is it? It's not. It's ignorant for you to even think it's a sacrifice. He sacrificed himself for me. Oh my God. The eternal God creature who created all the universe, he's afraid of a little bit of a whip? Oh my goodness. Thor from the Marvel movies isn't afraid of a whip, but your God creature. Oh, and he hung on a cross. That's right. You really should go read that. That's more evidence that he wasn't actually sacrificed. Go check that out. Read. Oh yeah, 6 whole hours. But he wasn't supposed to be there for 6 whole hours, was he? He was supposed to die up there and rot. But he didn't, did he? They were supposed to go around with hammers and break the legs, the knees of the people who had not died yet, so they would slump and asphyxiate themselves. But they didn't do that to him, did they? No. They did it to the thieves he was with, I think. They didn't do it to him. One of them thought he was dead. So they stabbed him. And he bled. And there was blood and water that came out of him. Most times, blood comes from living people, not dead people. He was only up there for 6 hours. And then they took him down. And they had a special place, the tomb of Joseph, I think, of Arimathea. They had a tomb ready to go. And you know what else they brought? Go read for yourself, my ignorant Christian friends. They brought, I think it's like 200 pounds of ointments and healing medicines. Go read it. Don't listen to me. Go read it yourself. They were going, if at best, even according to the story, they were going to try to heal Jesus. And try now wait a second. Think about what I've told you. Normally they break their legs or they leave them up there to die. Either way. Okay, so they were afraid they were going to piss off the Jews. So they agreed to go ahead and kill them all or whatever rather than just leaving up on the cross because of the Sabbath or some shit. Really? They were afraid of the Jews. The Romans were afraid of it. No, I don't think that was the case. But anyway, so Jesus got stabbed. They knew he was going to, and then a couple of days later, he comes back. Oh my goodness. He came back. Was he dead? According to the story, technically, everything says he wasn't actually dead. And then they take him down from the cross. They rush him to a personal space where they have medicinal materials at the time, which are good for swelling and other things like that. Go read it for yourself. And then a few days later, Jesus arises and he runs into his own people. And they don't recognize him. Some of them have to be convinced, wink, wink, yeah, it's him. Either one of two things happened. Either Jesus did die, and somebody else was playing the role of Jesus. That's why he didn't look the same. Oh, no, that's Jesus. Yeah, that's Jesus. Or, as per the other story, Jesus lived. He lived. He didn't die on the cross. He lived. They took him back, tried to heal him, and he was alive for a few days. He'd be all busted up. He'd have wounds. He'd be fucked up. After beating like the Romans giving him with his face would be it'd be hard to recognize him, wouldn't it? So yeah, it would be difficult for them to recognize him if they tried to heal him. Oh, blah, 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 but wait a second. He was he was the risen Son of God. He rose from the dead. All fucked up? Really? So he rose from the dead all fucked up. God, they didn't heal him, nothing. God just, was he still bleeding from the stab wound that allegedly killed him? Let's see here. Let's see. I want to see here. Caesar, his flesh, yes, not his divinity. His divinity did not. All right, but wait a second. His carnal died. Yes, that's just ignorant, dude. That's so ignorant. Let me ask you something. His carnal died. Oh, his carnal flesh. His carnal flesh died. Oh, no. Let me see if I can. All right, check this out. You are talking about the all-powerful, almighty God creature that created fucking everything, right? Oh, I've lost my carnal flesh. I've got another carnal flesh right over here. Matter of fact, he's supposed to come back in the flesh, is he not? Can he not make I mean, it's like the God who created all these billions of planets and billions. So he can't make another body for God creature, for Jesus. That's not a sacrifice. It's not even a sacrifice. It's not even, it's just not remotely a sacrifice. And whenever you take on the fact that you just know that he knew ahead of time. Okay, you remember I mentioned that soldier earlier who threw himself on or maybe the air pilot who flew themselves into combat. They didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't. He didn't know he was going to die and never come back when he flung himself on that grenade. He didn't know that he was going to get shot down trying to defend those people. That's 6 people. He didn't know, but he knew it was likely and he knew it was possible. And yet he went on and lived the rest of his life in pain and agony as he had lost limbs and all this business. That's a fucking sacrifice. Jesus Christ coming in and putting on flesh like somebody taking off a zipper suit and putting on a new zipper suit, that's not a fucking sacrifice. Especially, again, when your Jesus Christ creature is God, who knew he was going to be in heaven later. That's not a sacrifice at all. It's just the more I say it, the more it stacks up in ignorance. By any measure, it's not a sacrifice. None. No measure. By no measure, it is a sacrifice. Let's see. It was necessary. Someone had to atone for the sins of humanity. Wait a second. Didn't we talk about that earlier? So wait a second. So I went and robbed a store. So somebody has to atone for that. So I go kill my son, and that's the right thing to do. Why does it even make sense? So he had to give himself to himself. We already talked about it. He is God, right? So he has to satisfy his own need for blood. Is that what you're telling me, Texas for Christ? It was necessary. Someone has to atone for the sins of humanity. Really? Really? So you got to go get somebody else and hurt them because you're not a good person. Is that right? That makes sense to you? That makes sense to you. So you are a bad person. And in order to be a not bad person, in order for your God to see you as good, hurting your own child or something else, the more innocent, the better, is good? Oh no, that's disgusting. That's just disgusting. But the Lord Jesus was the most purest of lambs who gave himself. You don't hear yourself. You don't hear how disgusting your religion is. Because this whole time they've said, oh, it's beautiful that he gave himself for you. That's like going, yeah, I robbed that store and I did in fact kill that guard. So, but my little son, I went out and told my son, I was like, man, Daddy's done something wrong. And I'm sorry, but if you're just going to have to be punished for my wrong, I'm sorry. And my son was like, you know what, Daddy, I love you. I'm willing to do that for you. That's so sweet. Is that how you would think of that is? Oh, that's just so sweet, that little boy. That's so sweet. And then his daddy went and got those nails and that whip. Oh, it was just so wonderful. Just so pure and beautiful. You don't see how disgusting your religion is. You have no idea. You can't. Some of you can't. Some of you can. Yeah. And you leave. Some of you can, and you're just shitty people, but you know what your religion is. It's a tool to control people. I actually heard a story once. This is kind of an interesting story. I heard once a story where a woman got with a man. They were both Christians. But she was kind of, he wanted a more dominant relationship in a Christian kind of way. She wasn't really into it. So they kept moving from church to church, going to more and more conservative churches to where she had to be more and more submissive to her husband. Isn't that weird? Yeah. He was doing that out of power and control. Not because he wasn't going to those churches specifically necessarily for their religion. He was going there because it had a framework that allowed him to control his wife in the way that he felt he should control his wife. She threatened to leave him, according to the story. He got pissed and left, stormed out of the house. And then she got this fear and she ran out of the house, and then she saw him going back, and she figured he had gone and got the gun, because by the time it took him to, one of those deals, who knows? Yeah. So, but he can't forgive. That's right. Interesting. Why? That is a good question. And one of the things is, your God creature demands blood. Can you say that out loud? It does. Well, what kind of merciful, loving God creature is that? Where's the mercy? Where's the forgiveness? Where's the love? It couldn't go. Now, here's the thing. And here's a really good example for you to know. It says, he was able to, why didn't he, all right, here's what should have happened. Abraham took his son into the forest and was going to sacrifice his son. And he was right as he was raising the blade, the angel stopped him, because he was at that point demonstrating his willingness to sacrifice himself, his son. And they put a ram instead, the innocent ram, right? Got to hurt the innocent to get your sins gone. Anyway, why couldn't that have happened to Jesus? First of all, it wasn't a sacrifice at all. If it were a Jewish sacrifice, it should have happened at a Jewish synagogue. Jesus should have gone down to a Jewish synagogue or temple. There should have been a priest there ready for him. Jesus should have been willing. They should have said the rites, the prayers, gotten ready for the sacrifice. And whenever the priest raised his knife to slit the throat of Jesus Christ, the God creature should have sent an angel to stop him and said, you know what? You were willing to prove yourself that you were willing to be sacrificed. That's a more logical story. That actually makes sense. Wouldn't that make sense? That makes sense. But the whole notion that Jesus was hiding somewhere and that they drug him out of there by force and that he lied to try to get out of it, and then the Romans killed him. That's. I'm just thinking you probably shouldn't watch this show very long. Not if you enjoy your faith. Maybe. Yeah, keep watching. I don't know though. Text for Christ. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Now I'm concerned. If you're one of those people who goes around going, well, how do you keep from murdering and raping and killing people if you ain't got a God creature behind you threatening you with eternal damnation? You're probably not doing it in that voice. And so by that measure, if I use logic and reason, it leads me to believe that if you have that creature behind you protecting other people from you, and if I were to yank that imaginary leash off of you, would you become a horrific, murderous individual? Is that what happens? You would think if the way you guys believe were true, that it would be like scientifically proven, obvious, so obvious that whenever people leave your religion, they go mad and start killing people and raping people and all of a sudden, right? Why doesn't that happen? Stick around. You might learn something. Not, today. Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No.
No, I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is? It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. All right. Okay, real quick, I want to say, Quinn Prouty, I hope you're there still. Hang on a second, I'll answer you in a minute. You asked, why don't you set up a debate, blah, 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 blah. Text for Christ said, it's sad, but that's love. He took on our punishment so that we don't have to be eternally condemned. I hope you're not a parent. I really hope you're not a parent. Do you, have a stressful day at work, your boss get mad at you, and you go home and beat your kid? Is that kind of the logic that works for you? Because that's what you're describing here. It's sad, but God had to go home and beat his son in order for us to be eternally forgiven. You just don't know how disgusting your religion is. I want to unpin that. There's more from you. That is written Matthew 5 and John 17. Okay, I got you here. In Matthew, Jesus talks about coming back as the Son of Man and his angels will come back and murder people, billions of people. Yeah. In John chapter 6, Jesus says he's not. He says that he's not a king. They try to crown him, and he runs away to the mountains when they try to crown him king. Interesting. There's really a lot. But then let me go on. You also say you've met him. He's there with you right now. He's there with you right now. And this is one of those I kind of like to harp about. Have you ever heard about the Catholic child sex scandal? Just that one. There's lots of Christian child sex scandals, but let's just go with the Catholic one. You heard about that one, right? So Jesus loves you more and is willing to be there with you and help you. But he was unable to help those little children who were being raped by the priests in his own house. He was unable to hear their little prayers as they were going, "Dear Jesus, please make it stop. Please. No, here he comes again, Jesus. Here he comes. I don't want it to, Jesus. Please stop, Jesus." But he's there with you right now. What kind of narcissistic piece of shit are you? Have you not thought this through? Jesus is with you now, huh? Free will and whatnot. Let's see. Mormons love a postmortem thing. I pray that Jesus encounters all of you, man. I pray that Jesus encounters all of you. May the Lord God bless each of you. I don't speak or think ill of you. Science, archaeology, cartography. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't think you shouldn't really think of it as ill of us. We're trying to convince you that what you're doing is sick, sadistic, wrong, bad. We're actually the good people trying to help you. Why would you say anything bad about us? I mean, you're the one out there who seems to go by the whole divine command theory. So where if your God says throwing babies off of buildings is good, then throwing babies off of billions is good. Hey, Ilkat, I'd love that. Ilkat says you're going to tell your pastor. I don't think. Now, see, all right, so let me go back to this before we go on. I'll finish with. I don't really care for your prayers. Have you not heard about how disgusting your God creature is? Text for Christ. I mean, why would I want that thing blessing me in any fashion? If anything, you should say, Jesus and Lord, please ignore those people, forget them, let them live their lives. But no, it's please forgive them. Don't hurt them because your God creature is horrific. You even think so. You even believe that once I die, if I don't go the right way, specifically, it's going to torture my soul consciously, my conscious soul for eternity. The fuck is that? That's horrific. So, now, Ms. Ilkat, about telling your preacher. Let's go back over here to Quinn Prouty. Quinn says, why don't you set up a debate if you're so enlightened? Or do you just enjoy stroking your ego while talking to 30 people? Put your claims on to the test. Well, I too have to kind of lament the fact that I have a low viewership. I said at the beginning of the show, if you were here, go back and rewind. It probably has to do more with the fact that I'm not that interesting. Maybe. We'll see. But it keeps me out of trouble. However, why don't I debate? What would you care to debate me on? What if I said this is debatable? Matthew chapter 13. Give me a moment. I said Jesus Christ talked about how he was going to come back and murder billions of people in Matthew. Let me show you where that's at. And then you can go debate with other people. Okay, hold on. Because I'm not going to debate you. I had a call-in show. I did. And they would call in and I would go, oh, here's the evidence. And they would go, oh, I don't know. I mean, and then even go like the evolution. You ain't got no evidence for evolution. I'm like, dude, we got billions of pieces for evidence for evidence. Blah, 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 blah. Just a fucking idiot. So let me go here. Matthew chapter 13. Jesus Christ says, the Son of Man. Jesus is the Son of Man. He calls himself the Son of Man the entire fucking book of Mark. You just go check it out. It's the Son of Man. The Son of Man will send out his angels. Whose angels? Not Jesus. Jesus is not that son. Yeah, it's the Son of Angels. The Son of Man. Jesus. Jesus will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. What is sin? What is evil? Not believing in your God creature is the only thing required to fit in that category. Not accepting it. That's the only thing. And so it's going to round up everybody who doesn't believe, doesn't go through Jesus Christ to reach the Father, however you want to see it. Everybody that doesn't believe that on the planet Earth, according to Jesus's own mouth, he and his angels are going to round up. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus Christ committing an atrocity, the scale that fucking Hitler would just jack off about for days and days and days. Hitler, millions, a few million. Jesus, we're talking billions of people. Right there. Matthew 13:41 is talking about murdering billions of people for simply the wrong religious ideology. Jesus. I'm not wrong. There's nothing to debate about that. I mean, if you're going to debate, well, whether Jesus is obviously good because he's murdering people in the name of God, well, then we're not on the same moral level, are we? You're clearly more moral than I am. Anyway, you don't believe me again. So let's continue on reading in the same Matthew, the same book you referenced, if I remember right. Matthew 13:47 through 50. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. Then they sat down and they collected the good fish in baskets. But the bad fish, they mercifully put back in the water so they could go the fuck on about their... Oh, no, that's not what it says. But the bad fish, they threw away. Huh. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous. Will the wicked be forgiven? Will there be mercy? Will there be forgiveness and love? Kindness? Understanding? Will any of those things happen? This is Jesus talking. Jesus talking. They sat down and collected the good fish in baskets, but threw the bad away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus, twice. Just in this book. I haven't even looked to see if he says it in other books. Talking about him gathering up his Nazis and their armies and going around and creating furnaces and prison camps and hoarding all the people that they don't think believes the way they should into these furnaces. Jesus, the Lamb, loving and merciful. You just don't know how sick your religion is. I think it's one of the things that, Christians, they come in here and they're like, you just want to sin. That's why you just want to sin. That's weird because, I mean, a sin is something that is something a God creature thinks is bad. I don't believe in a God creature, so nothing to me is a sin. Some things are bad, but each person thinks things are bad based on how they feel and how they rely. I mean, but as far as a sin, no, I don't sit around thinking I want to sin. Who are the ones that want to sin? Is it the Christians that crash the Grindr account every time the Republican Conservative Party has a meeting? Are those the Christians that are gonna? We got new subscribers. I appreciate you, new subscribers. We got super chats and all that business. I thank you all, my friends. I'm fixing to wrap it up. I've got, oftentimes I say. Yeah, by the way, Quinn, again, I don't really see what there'd be anything to talk about, debate about. You can call Matt Dillahunty and he'll debate with you. I'm not really here to debate. I'm not here to debate about whether or not I like evolution. Oh, Ilkas says the host is doing Satan's work. Isn't that interesting how powerful Satan is and how weak your God creature is? All right? I mean, it's like some people, they could just be anywhere and Satan will just lick their ear like that. And they'll just start masturbating right then because Satan is powerful. But you Christians, for some reason, have to gather around together in churches every week and, oh, he's real, he loves me. And Jesus, may or may not answer you. I mean, actually, if you actually believe in the devil or Satan, that has less to do with me and more with an attestation of your own mental stability. I do believe. You guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm off to save the world. I will see you tomorrow. Well, read your super chats, Chris. Read your super chats on my way. If I have one, sometimes I don't get super chats. And that's okay. That's all right. But when I do, I want to appreciate them. I got new software, so give me a moment while I figure shit out. There we go. Let us see here. Events. Oh, Babylon 684 is banned from the channel. Probably for good reason, obviously. I mean, if a robot did it, you probably deserved it. I mean, before I could actually see a mod going, hey, man, I don't like the way you look. And they banned the channel. I've seen it happen, but not in your case. Let me just see here. We may not have. It's possible we don't have it. All right. So I don't see any. Guys, I am off to save the world. Listen, Christians and atheists, Christians, you really should go back and watch this. You should. Go do me a favor and, get you a pen and piece of paper, or maybe, have a smart person write this down for you, and rewatch the show. And everywhere where I lie or I'm wrong, write down the timestamp. And then you can email it to me at Chris@the-damn-show, and we'll talk about it on the show. You'll do that. If you go research all those things I talked about how Jesus did this and Jesus did that, and it's made up because, wait a second, did they perform a real Jewish sacrifice? Wait, Jesus really was hiding, wasn't he? Oh my goodness, he really did lie whenever they asked him specifically, did you ever teach in secret? And he said, no. You know that's a lie. Half of his ministry was in secret. The parables are secrets. He would go places. The first person he heals in Mark was a leper, and then he says, don't tell anybody. And then the leper told people. And then he lied. Jesus lied when they asked him, have you taught in secret? Why would he do that? If he was there for that purpose, to give himself for you and us and me, why would he do that? I think I got a super chat. Somebody threw some money at me, I think. Let me check my software and see if I did. I heard a noise. Events. Oh, super chat. Thank you, Secular Feelingness, for throwing the coin at me. $2 says, be well and hail Satan. I will. I don't think he's working today. I hailed him the other day and he stopped because he didn't have any other fares. But I mean, he's pretty busy lately. Thank you. Have a great day. Sin safely, my friends. Tomorrow's Thursday. I mean, man, we got rehearsals tonight. And we're running out of time. We open Friday. New Mexico Shakespeare Festival. For you Christians out there think I'm a coward at hides or some bullshit. I'm in the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival. I've always been to kind of the belief that if you actually come and hurt me or something, prove me right. I mean, it's like a badge of honor for me. Anyway, so and then it's just been crazy stressful. We're starting sooner than I thought. It feels like I've done like 4 or 5 of these Shakespeare festivals, and it really feels like this one has had one of the shortest rehearsal times. It may be, and obviously that's not because the directors and people choose that. It's because, it's a place that we depend on other people for the places where we rehearse and all that. But it just seems like it's been a really truncated rehearsal. Now all of a sudden, hey, next Friday, we're opening next Friday. Next Friday? No, it's this Friday, 3 days from now. So I appreciate you guys. I got more money. Somebody else threw money at me too. 3DM says, love you, Chris, and all my rational buds on here. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You guys are wonderful. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Of course, sin safely, my friends. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, Thursday, and we'll do it again. Let's see here. Let me press this button. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candle.
Oh, I'll take this one. Sorry. Sometimes I do this. Extra bonus show if you want. Hey, no nada. Hey, no nada. Good morning. No nada says, I'm sorry, it's Kelsis. Oh, we'll start with Onada. Onada says, oh, good with that. Good luck with that, Patty. Christ is king. Okay. And then Kelsis says, when was Jesus a king? So let's go down that rabbit hole for just a moment. Jesus was never a king. He was not a king. He never levied taxes. He never raised an army. He never had borders. He never had a throne. None of the things that would make a person a king. The people he claimed to be king over denied him. Actually, I think the other people claimed him, but you know what I mean? They denied him. The people who he claimed to be the king of denied him. And then in John, oh, you're not going to like this. In John chapter 6, a group of people tried to crown Jesus king, just like you do, because you see him do his works. You're like, oh, he's done wonderful works. We need to make him his king so they can. So they did. After they saw him feed the 5,000, a group of people gathered around and were going to make him their king. And he ran away to the mountains because he did not want to be king. By no measure has Jesus ever been a king. And finally, there's one place where I think in the Bible it says later on it's all the kingdom in heaven and he'll blah, 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 something. But in reality, I mean, not talking about the future in an imaginary place. In the reality of what was allegedly the story of the Bible, there was a person who admitted Jesus was the king. And that was Pontius Pilate, as a slur, remember? So Pontius Pilate comes out and he says, put a sign up there that says, Jesus Christ, King of the Jews. And the Jews say, no, please don't do that. Don't call him our king. Go look, read for yourself. So if Pilate had come out and said, Jesus Christ, asswipe of the Jews, would you now be coming in here and going, Jesus Christ is asswipe? Because it wasn't meant as a complimentary term. It was an insult. And you repeat it out of your ignorance. Isn't that cute? Wow, more money. 3 Dams for $2 says, new peeps. Chris also has a Discord. I do have a Discord. Oh, thank you for reminding me. A Discord. I always forget to do this. I have a Discord. I'm going to see if I can do this. Discord. Oops. And with any luck, it'll pop up in Discord. And yes, there it goes. I don't know if my Discord alert is working. Damn it, because I changed softwares. It should, but I don't see it working. Anyway, so we have a Discord channel. There's a Discord link down in the description or somewhere. Now I got to fix my new alert. But we do have the Daily Atheist Morning Show Discord. They have a thing every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern where they get together and they blaspheme and they sin. And those righteous people probably go there and argue and do ignorant stuff too. So how about John 18:36? What about John 18:36? What about it? Let me read. I want to read. I want to learn something. John 18:36. John 18:36. Oftentimes you'll find that, let's see, tells the Pontius Pilate during his trial, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my service would right, exactly. You weren't listening, were you? This is all imaginary. There's nothing real about this. This is taking the word of the man. You're not paying attention. This book, John, opens trying to convince the reader that Jesus is the word, doesn't it? That's how the book opens. The Lord is the Word, and the Word is Jesus. Isn't that how the book opens? It's trying to convince you openly that Jesus is God. And then here it says, my kingdom is not of this world. It's all imaginary. There's nothing, again, he never had a throne. Nothing. His kingdom is not of this world. It's in his fucking head. But wait. You're right. Jesus was telling people not to worry about their lives, to throw away their everyday things because the world was coming to an end. He was an apocalypse preacher. Go read for yourself. Don't listen to me. He told people, told people, don't say goodbye to your family. No, you ain't got no time for that. If you want to live in heaven, you got to go with me now. You should go read the Bible. Have you read the Bible? Yeah. Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, I got more. I love you, Chris, and my rational was. Yes, thank you for the super chats. So on and on. I just wanted to let you know, Jesus indeed was never king. He was never king. His only kingdom is in his mind after death. And he was going to come right back, right? Wasn't he? Wasn't he? He was going to come back within this lifetime. I will return. Now, if you're one of those who like to go, oh, well, Jesus did return at the destruction of the second temple, then everything else is a fucking wash, isn't it? What are you doing here? Your little wimpy excuse destroys your own argument, doesn't it? I should work late more often. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Yep, both the New and Old Testaments are survival records of the people who believed the world was ending. I mean, really, when you stop and think about it, you have those people who are out there going, the really hardcore religious people that all of us go, oh man, those guys are like, ooh. Those are the people who wrote these books. Anyway, I got things to see and people to do. You guys have a wonderful day. Sin safely, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm not going to look at the stream because Christians will say ignorant shit and I won't be able to stop myself from responding. So I'm not going to look at the chat. You guys have a great day.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills candles for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the gold candle, don't even think.
Bill Cat, who's your pastor? Give me his name. Give me his email address. I want it. I want your pastor's name and email address. Give it to me. I'll contact him. I think you're full of shit. What are you going to do? Tell your pastor on us? Like I'm a fucking child. You're going to tell your pastor on me? Fuck your pastor. Give me his email address. I will call and talk to him, or I will communicate with him. Go ahead. Just put it right there in the chat. I await you. And then I'll contact him. I'll be like, listen, this is what this person is doing in the chat, going around in your name, telling other people that you're going to tell him on them. That's what I'm going to tell him you're doing. Where are you? Because I like being mad, bitch. Go away, enclave vexation. Because I get tired of dealing with ignorant folk. I have a small patience for ignorance. I'm waiting for the email address. Ooh, okay. No. Yeah. So he's going to tell YouTube about the Wicked channel. Go ahead. I've been doing this for a couple of years. You think you'd be the first person that reported me? Can you really think you're the first person that would have been reported me? Really? Really? You're that slow? I will tell you, though, I've done this for 2 years now, this time, and I did it for a year and a half, 5 years ago, and never once has my channel ever been suspended, had a strike, had a complaint come through to my knowledge. Never once. So you can go, run, tell your pastor. I'm still waiting for you to give me his email address, though, so I can contact him. Enclave faxation, so confused. Well, if you stick around, we'll educate you and you won't be so confused. Well, you know, Secular, I know I said I wasn't going to watch chat, but man, I tell you, you know, they just keep doing it. This isn't highlighted. I don't know how I did that. Did I do that? I'm still learning this new software. I'm just waiting for the email. I mean, you don't even have to give me his email address. Just give me the name of the church that he's a pastor of. Maybe Ill Cat did it and I missed it. Nope. I got the new software that tells me, and nope. I got important shit to do with real people. Either nut up or shut up. Coming in here and threatening, I'm going to tell my pastor on you. Tell your pastor to kiss my ass. Now, here's the deal, though. I got to be honest about something, if you don't mind, before I go. You've been a jerk. Your pastor might be a great guy. I may call your pastor and go, dude, listen, this person's been a fucking piece of shit. And be like, you know what? Yeah, I know they're weird, man. You know, because I don't normally have those kind of interactions with people that are actually pretty cool.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flat.
I'm just never going to get off this stream. Oh my God. Ill cat. It actually should be ignorant cat. Says, God will judge you, wicked, uncircumcised heathens. Well, I will have you know, I am circumcised. See y'all tomorrow.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booths, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming